So this decision, I want to digest it, but it's a sick feeling in my stomach to think what we have to do to put the Constitution back together.
This is the voice of democracy, open, free to all. God bless you. God bless America. Thank God that the Supreme Court followed the Constitution.
There's only one way to truly fix Obamacare, only one way, and that's a full repeal.
This is a good day for the American people. They won today. It's also a good day for the rule of law.
The court makes a decision about whether this law is constitutional. It doesn't mean that the law is wise. It doesn't mean that the law is good for the country.
All right, the most dangerous place in America today, between a politician and a microphone, because everybody was clamoring to get their 5 seconds or 5 minutes, as it was. All right, let's bring in the callers here, because you guys have been terrific. I've been waiting on the line. Also, a lot of reaction. Andrew's getting online. But first, let me start with those calls. David's calling us from Philly. David, decision came down today a little after 10 when you heard it. Were you happy, or were you saying, what the heck?
Actually, I didn't hear about it until this afternoon, but I'm saying more like what the heck, because I'm hearing that they passed the law on the grounds of saying that the law was based on a tax, and I'm like, insurance is a contract, not a tax. So who argued this thing is a tax?
Well, let me bring Mark in, and in fact, we know it's the Chief Justice who gave that as his rationale. And I said people shouldn't get, I know you said people shouldn't get too lost in the semantics, but explain why the court, in a narrow decision albeit, decided that this was under the purview of the government to pay for something that is obviously of a national interest.
Well, to be clear, the Solicitor General argued as an alternative rationale for upholding the law that it was a permissible exercise of Congress's tax power. The primary justification for the law, and the one on which Congress actually passed it, was as an exercise of the commerce power. But it's a basic tenet of law that a statute can be upheld on any ground that finds sufficient support in the record. And Roberts appropriately seized on the alternative argument made by the Solicitor General.
But when a caller says, hey, Mark, is this a tax? The short answer is yes, but explain why the law says that's okay.
Well, the law says it's okay because it's within Congress's taxing power to levy this, and it's not a penalty that's being imposed on you. You don't go to jail for not paying it. Congress has the absolute authority to impose taxes if they want to. And in fact, the Republican challengers of the law always conceded that if it could be properly construed as a tax, there wouldn't be a constitutional problem. Now, they claim that it couldn't be properly construed as a tax. So as I said earlier, Roberts homed in effectively on that concession and beat them over the head with it.
Pete in New York City. Pete, go ahead. You're on the line.
Hello?
Go ahead, Pete.
Yes, I'm very in favor of this law. It doesn't matter if it's a tax or whatever. We have a system that's very, very broken. And whether you like it or not, we are a society that has always helped each other. I have been where one of my children was very sick when he was young. I didn't have no health insurance. You know, I almost went completely bankrupt. This law is a good law. If you take preventative care, before you get sick, let's make sure that, you know, they get everything that they need so we don't have to spend all this money. The only ones that are making money are the insurance companies and a few people on top. We are a great nation. I don't know where these people are even living.
Well, you know what? Thank you, Pete. And Dominic? Pete, in 30 seconds, did a better job than the president 100%. Did in 2+ years.
Stop making sense.
Pete for president. Can you tell me why, right? If somebody could just get they say, just get 20 Americans. Get some guy whose kid was going to be kicked off the insurance because of a pre-existing condition, but because of this, now the kid's got it. Or because, you know, people are being capped in effect of how much care they can get, or some kid who was kicked off the rolls because he hit 22 or whatever. Why don't they do that?
Well, I think the president did try to do that, rallying people with him that have ailments from around the country. But what we're missing, in this discussion, Republicans did an excellent job of demonizing Obamacare. That even up to until today. Even today, they're telling you this is horrible. But what they're not telling you.
The president for not saying why they were wrong.
But the president can't come out and say that it's a tax. That's a boogeyman word in
Nobody
Washington.
cares about that. You know,
yeah,
right.
he does, and as a public official, better care about that.
But I don't know the face of Jimmy.
Right.
I don't
you say
know.
taxes
My
dead
only
on
point is,
arrival.
if you showed me Jimmy, some 9-year-old kid here, right, who this law helped because he had a condition that the mean HMO was going to kick him to the curb about, I'd remember Jimmy.
The president did that around the country. He did that around the country.
You buy that?
Well, keep in mind, a lot of this stuff hasn't taken effect yet. A lot of the stuff doesn't kick in until 2014. So Jimmy can stay on his parents' insurance, but he might not have had all of the benefits.
Give me a tweet or two you like.
We got one that's coming in right now from Rob Den Bleicher. So this one's a little humorous. Sad day for America. Supreme Court has passed universal health care and taken away your human right to die broken and poor. Not exactly true, but interesting. Hoku Boku, and I love Twitter names. Isn't it perfect, but what is? However, it will help countless Americans with pre-existing conditions, which is important. Johnny Gat 25. Replace it. I don't agree the government should be allowed mandate. Now your paycheck will be smaller because of more tax. You get back to that 3-letter word right there. And last up, Bob Rice on Facebook. Have to say I'm surprised but pleased. I hope we'll be able to look back on this someday as a no-brainer, perhaps wondering what all the hubbub was about, Rich.
All right. When we come back, though, guys, I want to talk about the High Court a little bit, because I think with all the back and forth, even if you're a cynic here, I think regardless of your politics, you see that they put the law before politics. And for me, I think that's a good day for the country one way or the other.